We're doing worksheet number 1B, which is about word problems related to quadratic equations. This is question number 1, which says that there's a parallelogram whose base is 2x minus 1 and whose height is 4x minus 7. So height is the vertical length, this one. So the height is 4x minus 7 meters, and we're given that the area is 1 meter square. In part 1 we have to show the given equation. So area of a parallelogram is base times height, and again height is the vertical length, not the slant length, not this one. Alright, so we have the value of the area, which is 1. We have the expression for the base, 2x minus 1. We have the expression for the height, which is 4x minus 7. Open the brackets. We get 8x square minus 14x minus 4x plus 7. 0 is equals to 8x square minus 18x. 7 minus 1 is 6. Take 2 common. 4x square minus 9x plus 3. Take 2 to the other side, it will get divided with 0 and we'll still get a 0, is equals to 4x square minus 9x plus 3. So we've shown the equation for part 1. Part 2, solve this equation showing all your working and giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So the answer will be in 2 decimal places. This is your hint that you'll be using the quadratic formula, and factorization, also known as middle term breaking, won't work here. Also, whenever it's a 4-mark question, usually you'll have to apply the quadratic formula. The factorization won't work. The factorization part is usually for 3 marks or 2 marks. Alright, so let's do part 2. So apply quadratic formula, which is minus b. So b is minus 9. So minus b will become 9. Plus minus b square, 9 square, or minus 9 whole square is 81. Doesn't matter if it's 9 or minus 9, square of it will be 81. So b square minus 4 times a is 4 and c is 3 divided by 2a. So 2 times 4. Solve this and you will get this answer rounded off to 2 decimal place like asked in the question. So let's simplify this a little bit. 81 plus 4 times 3 is 129. So 9 plus minus under root 129 over 8. So 9 plus under root 129 over 8 gives us, sorry I made a mistake here, it's not 129, it's 33. So 9 plus under root 33 divided by 8 gives us 1.8431. So when we will round it off, we'll get this. And the other one, 9 minus under root 33 divided by 8 gives us 0.4069, and when we round it off we'll get 0.41. For part 3, we have to calculate the height of the parallelogram. So part 3 is find the height of the parallelogram. The expression for that is 4x minus 7. We're getting 2 values of x, this and this. We will be selecting such a value which will give us a positive height. So If let's in case you take 4 times 0.4069 times minus 7, you'll get a negative answer. So we'll be discarding this value 0.9469 for the third part, and instead we'll take the other value 1.8431. Either use your whole calculator display that you got for 1.8431 and so on, or if you've raised that display, if you don't have it anymore, just use the 4 decimal place value minus 7, and this should give us 4 times 1.8431 minus 7 gives us 0.3724. So the rounded off answer will be 0.372 preferably, because we need to give the final answer correct to 3 significant figures unless mentioned otherwise in the question. So this is the exact answer. Question number 2. The difference between the areas of the two rectangles is 62 centimeters square. Part 1. Show this equation. So for part 1, we're given the difference of areas of the two triangles, so of the two rectangles. So the first rectangle's area will be length times width minus area of the second rectangle is x plus 1 times x minus 2, and the difference is 62. Open the brackets, we get 2x square plus 3x minus 2x minus 3. Let's keep the negative sign outside and solve the other two brackets. X square minus 2x plus x minus 2, and this will be equals to 62. Simplifying this part, we get 2x square plus x minus 3, still keeping the subtraction sign outside of the bracket, x square minus x plus 2, x square minus x minus 2 is equals to 62. Now we'll open the brackets, 2x square plus x minus 3 minus x square plus x plus 2 is equals to 62. So we get x square plus 2x, and then we have minus 3 plus 2, which makes minus 1, then minus 62. So minus 63 is equals to 0, and we've shown the required equation. Part 2. Factorize this equation. So for that we simply apply middle term breaking. Multiplication should give us minus 63, addition should give us plus 2. So 63 is 9 times 7, so 9 times minus 7 and 9 minus 7. So x square plus 9x minus 7x minus 63 is equals to 0. X is common, x plus 9 minus 7 is common, x plus 9 is equals 0, and we get x minus 7, x plus 9 equals 0. So we're getting two answer. One is x. Oh, we just needed to factorize it. Why am I equating it to 0 here? The question was to factorize it, so I've factorized the given equation. They haven't asked us to solve it yet. In part 3, however, we're being asked to solve the equation. So to solve it, and you're told to equate it to 0, so we'll equate it to 0 now. So I'm doing part 3 here. Solve this equation. So x minus 7 and x plus 9 equals 0. So we're getting two answers, x equals 7 and x equals minus 9. So we're getting two answers. And then find the difference between perimeters of two rectangles. So we will have to discard one of the values of x here. Let's say if I take x minus 9, then this length will become negative, minus 9 minus 2. In fact, all the lengths will become negative, and a rectangle cannot have negative lengths. Nothing can have negative lengths. So we will ignore the minus 9 answer and use the answer 7. So let's find the difference of the perimeters of the two rectangles using x is equals to 7. So perimeter 1, if this is shape 1, will be 2 times x minus 1 plus 2x plus 3. So instead of x, substitute 7 and we get 46. So the first perimeter is P1 is 46. Similarly, if this is figure 2, let's find P2 here. P2 will be found by 2 times length plus width. So length is x minus 2 plus x plus 1. So substitute 7 here and we will get 26. So now the difference of the two perimeters is simply 46 minus 26, which gives us 20. So the answer for this question is 20. Question number 3. The area of the shape is 24 centimeters square. All lengths are in centimeters. Show this equation. So we're given the area of this shape. Now this is a compound shape. Let's break it into two rectangles. This length is 2x, this width is 2x minus 9. So area of the total shape will be area of the both rectangles. So for part 1, the first area is 3x minus 9 times 2x plus area of the lower rectangle. Now this length is still this length is 4x and we need to find this width. So we need to find the length BC. So what will be BC? We know this whole length and we know this length. When we'll subtract these two lengths, we will get length of BC. So BC is 3x plus 13 minus 2x, which gives us x plus 13. So this is x plus 13 and this is 4x. Multiply these two to get the area for the lower rectangles. So 4x times x plus 13, and this should equal 24. Now open the brackets, we get 6x square minus 18x plus 4x square plus 13 times 4 is 52x, and let's bring 24 to this side is equals 0. So we're getting 10x square plus 52 minus 18, 34x minus 24 equals 0. Now the given equation has 5 here. The required equation has 5 here. We have 10 here. So let's take 5 common from this equation. 5 is taken common. We're left with 2x square. Let's take 2 common. We can't take 5 common. 2 common. We're left with 5x square plus 17x minus 12 and equals 0. Take 2 to the other side, it will get divided with 0 and become 0. So we've shown what was needed in part 1. Part 2, solve this by factorization. Factorization means we have to apply middle term breaking procedure. Let me use another color. So multiplication of two numbers should give us 5 times minus 12, which is minus 60, and addition of the same two numbers should give us 17. So what would be those two numbers? I can't tell just like that. I'll have to factorize 60. So 230, 215, 35, 5, 1. Now how can I use these factors so that I get 17 when I add those two numbers? So yes, if I use 20 times 3, yes, that should work. So I'll use 20 minus 3 will give me minus 60, and 20 minus 3 will give me 17. So these are the two factors. So let's use that. Okay, so 5x square plus 20x minus 3x minus 12 is equals 0. 5 and x is common in the first two expressions, so we're left with x plus 4, minus 3 is common, x plus 4 equals 0. We get x plus 4 bracket 5x minus 3 equals 0. We get x equals minus 4. We get x equals 3 by 5, which is the answer for part 2. This is question number 4. In this question, all measurements are in meters. The diagram shows a right angle triangle. Show this. Now we're not given any value of any area. We're not given the perimeter. We're just given a right angle triangle and expressions of its three lengths. And from that, we're being asked to derive this equation. So the only thing that should come into our minds is, what is a formula that connects all three sides of a right angle triangle? That's Pythagoras theorem. So we'll use Pythagoras theorem, which is c square is equals to a square plus b square. C is the hypotenuse, so 6 square is equals to x square plus 2x minus 3 square. Open this, we get 36 is equals to x square. This will be opened using the formula a plus b whole square, which is a square plus 2ab plus in fact a minus b whole square, which is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So plus a square 4x square minus 2ab, which becomes 12x. So I'll write minus 12x plus 9. Rearrange, and we need 0 at one end, so 0 is equals to 5x square minus 12x, and then 9 minus 36 will be minus 27, and we have achieved the required equation. Part 2 says solve this. So now we have to solve it, and again showing all your working and correct to 2 decimal places. It's a 4-mark question, which means that directly apply the quadratic formula. Don't even attempt to solve this by factorization, because it won't work. So minus b, which means minus minus 12 plus 12, plus minus under root b square, which is 12 square, which is 144, minus 4ac. 4a is 5 and c is minus 27, over 2a, which is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. So 12 plus minus this term in the under root becomes 144 plus 4 times 5. 4 times 5 times 2, the 5 times 27, which is 684 over 10. Solve these using your calculator, once with the positive sign, then with the negative sign. The positive answer would be 3.8153, and the answer with the negative sign will be 12 minus 684 whole divided by 10 minus 1.4153 till 4 decimal place. Final answer has to be rounded off to 2 decimal place, so this is the given answer. Part D, calculate the smallest angle of the triangle. So find the smallest angle of the triangle. Now this will involve trigonometry. Now remember that the smallest angle is always opposite to the smallest side. We obviously can't use x is equals to minus 1.4153 in the next part, because that will make the length negative, which can't be. So write 3.8153 here, 6 here, and this one is 2x minus 3. So 2 times 3.8153 minus 3 gives us 4.6306. We'll try to use answer till 4 decimal places at least. Alright, so now the smallest angle will be this angle because it's opposite to the smallest side. Now how do we find this angle? Either use sine theta, cos theta, or tan theta. Since we have all three lengths, use any one of these. So I will be using sine. Sine theta is equals to perpendicular over hypotenuse. Perpendicular is the side opposite to the theta, which is this side, and hypotenuse is the side opposite to the right angle, which is this side, so over 6. So in my calculator I'll enter sine inverse, because we have to take sine to the other side, sine inverse, and then enter this whole fraction. Sine inverse 3.8153 divided by 6, which gives me 39.4855. 39.4855. First I'll write the answer till 4 decimal places, and then in the exam every angle has to be rounded off to 1 decimal place. So the final answer for the angle is 39.5. Question number 5. The perimeter of the rectangle is 80 centimeter. The area of the rectangle is a centimeter square. Part 1. Show that x square minus 40x plus a is equals to 0. So let's see what information do we have. We are told that the perimeter is 80 centimeters square, and we're given one length of this rectangle. So if this, and also we're told that area is it. So let's quickly do some rough work. Let's say if we have area of a rectangle is, let's say, 50, and we're told that this side is 5, then what would this side be? That would be 50 over 5, right? 10. This has to be 10, so that when these two multiply together we get 50. Similarly, if this side is x and the whole area is a, then this length would be a over x. Keep this in mind. So now this would be a over x, this length is a over x, and the perimeter is 80, so we'll do 2 times length plus width equals 80. Let's take 2 to the other side, so we get x plus a over x equals 40. Take LCM, so we get x square plus a over x is equals to 40. Take 40x to the other side, it will become 40x. Then move 40 to the left hand side, and we'll get x square minus 40x plus a equals 0. This is the answer for part 1. We've shown the required equation. Alright, part 2, where a is equals to 300, solve by factorization this equation. So we need to solve the equations by substituting 300 instead of a. So we're looking for two numbers that once multiplied together should give 300, and once this was x, once added together must give minus 40. So those two factors would simply be, if I write minus 30 minus 10, if I multiply these two together I get 300, and when I add minus 30 and minus 10 I get minus 40. So these are the two factors. I'll write it in this form and then equate it to 0. Now x is common in the first two expressions, so I get x bracket x minus 30, then minus 10 is common, and I get x minus 30 equals 0. X minus 10 bracket close, x minus 30 bracket close equals 0, and I get 10 and 30 as my final answer for part 2. These are the two values of x after solving this by factorization. Okay. Part 3, when a is equals to 200, solve this equation using quadratic formula. So x square minus 4x plus 200 equals 0. This we use quadratic formula, that's minus b, so minus minus 4 becomes plus 4, plus minus under root b square, minus 4 whole square becomes 16, minus 4 a c. A is 1, c is 200 over 2a, so 2 times 1, and I get 4 plus minus under root this was minus 40. So b is actually minus 40, so this becomes minus 40 plus minus 40 square. So it wasn't 16, this will be 40 square, so which will be 1600. Minus 4 a and then c is 200. Alright, so inside the under root I get 1600 minus 4 times 200, which gives us 800 over 2. Once use the positive sign, 4 plus under root 800 divided by 2, this gives 16. That's actually 40, not 4. This is 40. So 40 plus under root 800 divided by 2 gives us 34.14, and rounded off to two decimal place, and with the negative sign, 4 minus under root 800 divided by 2 gives us 40 minus under root 800 divided by 2 gives us 5.86, rounded off to 2 decimal place. Part B, a car completes a 200-kilometer journey with an average speed of x kilometer per hour. The car completes the return journey of 200 km with an average speed of x plus 10 km per hour. Show that the difference between the time taken for each journey is this. Alright, so the time for the first journey will be time is distance over speed. So distance is 200 and speed is x. For the second time, the distance is still 200 and the speed has increased to x plus 10. So this is the expression for time in the return journey. Now the difference between the two times is show that the difference between the two times is this. Now the question is, do I do t1 minus t2 or t2 minus t1? I need to see which one of these time would be bigger. And in the first journey, the speed is less, so the time taken would be more. So this time t1 is actually bigger than t2. So I'll be doing t1 minus t2. Another way of figuring this out is that when the denominator is smaller, the overall fraction is bigger, and here the denominator is bigger, so the overall fraction is smaller. So t1 is bigger than t2. So t1 was 200 over x, minus t2 is 200 over x plus 10. Take LCM, we get x times x plus 10. Numerator becomes 200x plus 2000 minus 200x. So this simplified simply gives us the required expression, 2000 over x times x plus 10. Okay, part 2, find the difference between the time taken for each of the two journeys when x is equals to 80. Give your answer in minutes and seconds. So in the given fraction, the one we just found, or this fraction given in the question, simply substitute x is equals to 80. So for part 2 of B, we'll do 2000 over 80, or 8 and 80 plus 10. So we get 2000 over 80 times 90. What does this give us? 2000 divided by 80 times 90. This gives us 0.2 with 777. So 7 is the recurring number. Put a small dot on it. So now this answer is in hours, because the speed was in kilometer per hour. So the answer we just found is in hours, whereas in the question the answer is asked in minutes and seconds. So for that, there are two ways of doing that. So the quickest way of doing this is when your calculator is showing this display, the display 0.277, simply press this key. You have this screen, your calculators, it has a small dot and then 3 commas. Press this key and this will give you the answer 0, 16, 40, which means 0 hours, 16 minutes and 40 seconds, which is your answer for part 2. Another way of doing it is multiply 0.27777 with 60 and 0.27777 with 60. This will give us 16 minutes, 0.66666 minutes. So take 16 minutes from it. Next, multiply 0.66666 with 60, and we'll get 39.99999 seconds, which means 40 seconds. Question number 6. The area of this triangle is 40 centimeters square. We're given certain expressions for AD, DC, BD, and we've given that the area of the triangle is 40 centimeters square. Show that this equation holds true for the given information. So for that, we will simply use the formula for area of the triangle, which is half into base into height, and we're given the answer for area, which is 40 centimeters square. Half times, now base is this whole length, which is 2x plus 8. So we write 2x plus 8 times height is x plus 1 equals 40. Take 2 to the other side, this becomes 80. Open the brackets, 2x square plus 2x plus 8x plus 1. Rearrange and we get 2x square plus 10x. Bring 80 to this side and we get minus 79 equals 0. Oops, this wasn't 1, this was 10, which makes 10 minus 80 is, sorry, this was 8, not 10. This is 8. So 8 minus 80 is 72. So this is 72. Now take 2 common. X square plus 5x minus 36. 2 gets divided with 0 when it goes to the other side and it gets eliminated. It becomes 0 and we're left with the required equation. In part 2, we have to solve this. So we need to solve the equation we had just derived. So we'll be applying factorization. So middle term breaking, we're looking for two numbers which when multiplied should give minus 36 and which when added should give 5. So we get 36 from 6 times 6, but that won't give us 5, and also from 9 times 4. So 9 times minus 4 is minus 36 and 9 minus 4 is 5. So x square plus 9x minus 4x minus 36 equals 0. X is common, x plus 9 minus 4 is common, x plus 9 equals 0. We're getting two answers, one is 4 and the other one is minus 9. Okay. Part 3, calculate the length BC. So for that we need this length, which is x plus 1. So we're only going to take the positive answer and not the negative answer because we can't have negative lengths. So x plus 1 becomes 5, 4 plus 1, and x plus 2 becomes 6. And then there's a right angle here and we need this length. So simply apply Pythagoras Theorem and we get under root 5 square plus 6 square, which gives us 5 square plus 6 square whole under root gives us 7.81, which is the answer for part 3. 7.81. Part B. Amira takes 9 hours 25 minutes to complete a long walk, so that the time 9 hours 25 minutes can be written as 113 over 12 hours. So 9 hours and 25 minutes. How do we change minutes to hours? We divide that with 60. So now we have 9 hours plus 25 over 60 hours. Simplify 25, either just simply, if you have the newer versions of the calculator, you should add these and get 113 over 12. Otherwise you'll have to take the LCM first and then simplify and get to this answer. The next part is she walks 3y plus 2 kilometers at 3 km per hour, and then the further off y plus 1 kilometers at 2 kilometers per hour. Show that the total time is this. So we need to show, we're doing B part 2, this was B part 1, show that the time, show that the total time is this. So we have to add the two times, t1 and t2. The first time, for the first time, the distance is 3y plus 2 and speed is this. So time is distance over speed. So the first time is 3y plus 2 over 3 and the second time is y plus 4 over 2. Take LCM, LCM is 6. This becomes 6y plus 4 plus 3y plus 12, which gives us 9y plus 16 over 6. And you'll get this by simplifying this. Okay, part 3, solve this given equation. So for part 3, simply solve 9y plus 16, we're doing B3, over 6 is equals 113 over 12. So for simplification, let's just cancel the denominators. 1 times 2 times 2 will go to the other side, gets multiplied, plus 16 times 2 is 32 is equals 113. Then y equals 113 minus 32 whole over 18. 113 minus 32 over 18, we get 4.5. So y equals 4.5. Next part says calculate Amira's average speed in kilometer per hour for the whole walk. So the formula for average speed is average speed equals total distance over total time. So the total distance he has covered is 3y plus 2 and then y plus 4. So the total combined distance would be the sum of these. So 4y plus 6 is the total distance, and total time was Mira takes, so 9 hours 25 minutes, which we know in hours was 113 over 12. So just write 113 over 12 over here. And the value of y came out to be 4.5, so simply substitute that in your calculators. 4 times 4.5 plus 6 whole divided by 113 over 12. So in the denominator you will be pressing the fraction key again. So 4 times 4.5 plus 6 divided by 113 over 12, which gives us 2.54867. So rounded off answer is this, 2.55. 2.55. Question number 7. Carol walks 12 km per hour at x km per hour, then 12 km at x km per hour, and then a further 6 km at x minus 1 km per hour. The total time taken is 5 hours. Part 1, write an equation in terms of x and show that it simplifies to this. So total time of the first journey and time of the second journey is 5 hours. The formula for time is distance over speed. So the first distance is 12 and the first speed is x, plus the second distance is 6 and the second speed is x minus 1. So this will be the equation. Simplify it. So the LCM is x times x minus 1, 12 times x minus 1 plus 6x equals 5, which becomes 12x minus 12 plus 6x, and I'm taking the denominator to the other side and opening it, and I get 5x square minus 5x. Rearrange, we need one side to be 0 and move everything to the other side. I get 5x square, and I have minus 5 x minus 6 x minus 12, which gives me minus 23x, and 12 becomes positive 12. So we got the required equation. part 2 says factorize this. So for part 2 we'll simply factorize this equation, which means that we'll do the middle term breaking. So multiplication should give 5 times 12, which is 60, and addition should give minus 23. So what would be the two numbers which would give us this combination? Can't tell that orally, so I would rather take factors of 60. 2 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 5, and 5 times 1. So how would this, which numbers should I use to get to minus 23? Not 15 times 4 won't work. 30 minus 2 won't work either. 12 times 5 won't work either. So how do I get minus 23 from here? That would be 20 and 3. So these three will give me 20 and 3. So 20 times 3 minus 20 times minus 3 is 60. Minus 20 minus 3 is minus 23. So 5x square minus 20x minus 3x plus 12 equals 0. 5x is common, we get x minus 4. Then minus 3 is common and we get x minus 4 equals 0. And we're getting x equals 4 and x equals 3 over 5. And then for part 4, there's an answer missing over here. This should be a 4 with it as well. And the last part simply states, write down Carol's walking speed during the final 6 kilometers. So final 6 kilometers has this speed, x minus 1, and we got two answers for x. We'll be using the one which gives us a positive speed. So we can't use 3 by 5. We'll be using 4. So 4 minus 1 is simply 3, which is the answer for part 4. Question number 8. Alfonso runs 10 kilometers at an average speed of x kilometer per hour. So we'll probably be using time for this. So time is distance over speed. So this time, the first time would be distance is 10 and speed is x. Similarly, next day he runs 12 kilometers at an average speed of x minus 1. So the second time is distance over speed. Okay. The time taken for the 10 kilometer run, so this time is 30 minutes less than the previous time, than this time. So how do we make an equation that the bigger time minus smaller time equals 30 minutes? Now the problem is in the units. This is in hours, the times are in hours, but this time is in minute. The speed was in our kilometers per hour, but this is in minutes. So we need to fix the time first and divide this with 60 right here. So now simplify this equation and we should get the desired equation. Take LCM. So we get x times x minus 1 equals 12x minus 10x plus 10. Keep this in mind. Equals half. So that becomes 2x plus 10 times 2, because I'm taking 2 to the other side, equals x square minus x, which becomes 4x plus 20 equals x square minus x, which becomes 0 equals x square minus 5x minus 20, which is the desired equation. Okay. Next part says use quadratic formula to solve this equation. So x square minus 5x minus 20 needs to be solved using quadratic equation, which is minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. So a is 1, b is minus 5, and c is minus 20. So we get this expression, and the value inside the under root is 25 plus 4 times 20, which is 105 divided by 2. So this is 5 plus under root 105 divided by 2, which gives us 7 point. The one answer will be 7.62 and the other answer will be minus 2.62. Alright, part 3. Find the time that Alfonso takes to complete 12-kilometer run. So 12 kilometer was completed in distance over time was x minus 1. Now we got two values of x, and x is the speed. It can't be negative, so now we'll be ignoring the negative answer we got and use the only the positive answer. And this answer was in kilometer per hour. Keep that in mind. This fraction is in kilometer per hour. So we're getting 12 over x was 7.62 minus 1. This will give us 12 divided by bracket 7.62 minus 1, which gives us 1.8126 and so on hours. We need the answer in hours and minutes, so click this key and this will give us 1 hours 48 minutes and some 45 seconds. So and 45 seconds. So when we'll round this off, we'll get 49 minutes. So because we need to give answer in hours and minutes only, not in seconds. So 48 minutes and 45 seconds would round off to 49 minutes. So we get 1 hour and 49 minutes. Question number 9. Luigi and Alfredo run a 10-kilometer race. Luigi's average speed was x kilometer per hour. Alfredo's, I'm actually hungry after hearing this name. Okay, after reading this name, Alfredo's average speed was 0.5 kilometer per hour slower than Luigi's average speed. So let's, before starting the question, let's write an expression for Alfredo's average speed. Luigi's average speed is x and Alfredo's average speed is 0.5 kilometer per hour slower than Luigi's. So that would simply be x. Luigi's average speed was x, so Alfredo's average speed would be x minus 0.5. Okay, so this is the expression for the average speed of Alfredo. Okay, Luigi took 10 by x hours to run the race. Write down an expression in terms of x for the time that Alfredo took. So time is distance over speed. So distance is same for both of them, and speed for Alfredo was x minus 0.5. So this is the expression for time taken by Alfredo to run the race. This is the answer for part A. Part B says Alfredo took 0.25 hours longer than Luigi to run the race, and we have to prove this equation. So Alfredo took 0.25 hours longer, so that means Alfredo's time minus Luigi's time would be 0.25 hours. So Alfredo's time expression is 10 over x minus 0.5, and Lugi's time expression is given, which is 10 by x. So minus 10 by x gives us 0.25. For clarity's sake, I can write 1 by 4 here, although won't make any difference if I use 0.25. Let's just stick to 1 by 4 because it's more convenient to handle, more convenient to solve. So LCM is 10x minus 10 times x minus 0.5 over x times x minus 0.5 equals 1 by 4, and open the brackets in the numerator. 10x minus 10x plus 5 over x square minus 0.5x equals 1 by 4. Take 4 to the other side, becomes 20 when it gets multiplied with 5. X square minus 0.5 move to the other side, get multiplied by 1, and we get this, and we need 0 at one side, so x square minus 0.5x minus 20. Now the actual equation that needs to be proved has 2 as the coefficient of x square, whereas our coefficient of x square is just 1. So let's multiply the equation with 2. So this equation gets multiplied with 2. We're doing B1, right? Yes. Okay, gets multiplied with 2, we get 2x square. 2 times minus 0.5 is minus 1, so minus x, and 2 times minus 20 is minus 40 equals 0, and we got the desired equation. Part 2, use quadratic formula to solve this equation. So the quadratic formula is minus b, which becomes plus 1 since b is minus 1, plus minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. So 1 plus minus under root 1 plus 4 times 2 times 40, which gives us 321. 4 times 2 times 40 plus 1, yes, 321 over 4, and 1 plus under root 321 over 4 gives us 4.73 rounded off answer, and the negative 1 will give us minus 4.23 rounded off answer. Part 3, work out the time that Lugi took to run 10-kilometer race. So Lugi's time was 10 by x, and x came out to be these two values, and x was the average speed, which can't be negative, so we'll only use the positive value, which is 4.73. This gives us time in hours. 10 over 4.73 is 2.11416, and so on. To change this into hours and minutes, this is just hours, simply click this key, which gives us 2 hours, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Round this off to 7 minutes because the question does not need the answers in seconds, so for that we'll round off the second to the next minute. So this is the answer for the last part. Question number 10, part A, part 1. Paulo and Jim each buy sacks of rice from different shops. Paulo pays $72 for sack containing $M, costing $M each. Jim pays $72 for sacks costing $M plus 0.9 each. Part 1. Find an expression in terms of M for the number of sacks Polo buys. So Polo spends $72 and each bag costs $M. So how many sacks did he buy? Let's say you buy something for $200 and each thing costs $2. So how many things did you buy? You bought 100 over 2. Let's say you bought some similar things. All the things are the same and they cost the same. So you probably bought 50 quantities of things. That's why they cost you $100. So keeping this logic in mind, find an expression in terms of N for the number of sacks Polo buys. So that would be 72 over M. For part 2, find an expression in terms of N for the number of sacks Jim buys. That would be 72 over M plus 0.9. Part B, Polo buys 4 more sacks. So when we subtract these two expressions, we should get 4. So 72 over M minus 72 over M plus 0.9 equals 4. We're taking LCM, we get M times M plus 0.9 is 72M plus 72 times 0.9 is 64.8 M. No, just 64.8 minus 72 M equals 4. These two get cancelled. 64.8, taking the denominator to the other side, and we get this, and 4 times 0.9 is 3.6 M. Rearrange and we get 0 is equals to 4M square plus 3.6 M minus 64.8. Now there's a huge problem. The equation we were supposed to get was this, whereas we're getting this, and there's no way we can directly change 4 into 10 by multiplying it with an integer. Instead, what do? If I need 10 instead of 4, can I multiply the whole equation with 10 by 4? When I'll do that, my first expression will become 10m square instead of 4. So let's proceed from here and simply multiply the whole equation with 10 by 4. So I'll do 0 times 10 by 4 becomes 0. 10 by 4 times 4m square plus 3.6m minus 64.8, which will give us 0 is equals to 10m square plus 10 by 4 times 3.6. 10 by 4 times 3.6 gives us 9 plus 9m minus 10 by 4 times 64.8, 162, which is the required equation. Part C1 is solve this equation. So we can use the quadratic formula, or I think maybe even factorization will work, but I'd prefer the quadratic formula. So minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. This should give you these two answers here. And part 2 2 says, find the number of sacks of rice that Polo buys. So we found the number of sacks Polo buys. The expression for the number of sacks that Polo bought was 72 over m, and the value of m is 3.6 or minus 4.5, but m is in dollars, so it can't be negative. So cost of something can't be negative, so we'll use 3.6. So 72 over 3.6, what do we get? Which gives us 20. Question number 11. Apples cost X cents each and oranges cost X plus 2 cents each. Dylan spends $3.23 on apples and $3.23 on oranges. Now the first problem in this question is that the first sentence has values in cents and the second sentence has values in dollars. So first we need to change dollars to cents, so we'll get 323 cents here, and similarly 323 cents for oranges as well. 323 cents. Alright, next is the total number of apples and total number of oranges Dylan buys is 36. So total oranges and total number of apples he buys is 36. Now how many oranges did he buy? He spent 323 cents on oranges and each orange cost X plus 2. So we'll write 323 over X plus 2 for total oranges he bought, and for total apples we'll similarly do 323 over X equals 36. And now simply take LCM, cross multiply, and you should get the answer 323x plus 323x plus 646 over LCM is x times x plus 2 equals 36, and we get add these and we get 636x plus 646, sorry, this was 646x. Plus 646 equals 36x square plus 36 times 2, which is 72. Rearrange and we get 0 equals 36x square minus 646x minus 72 minus 646, we get 574. We can take we need 18 instead of 36, so 36 divided by 18 is 2. Take 2 common from here and we get 18x square minus 646 divided by 2 is 323, and 574 divided by 2 is 287. I made a mistake here. This was 72x here. So 646 will go to the other side and become minus 646, and then we'll have plus 72x minus 646x, and we'll get minus 574x. So now this will become 18x square minus 287x minus 323. Take 2 to the other side, it gets eliminated by being divided with 0, and we get this required equation. Okay. Next part, find the two prime factors of 323. So this would require some hit and trials, and you should end up with 17 and 19. Please don't make the mistake of using 323 and 1, because 323 is not a prime number. It's divisible by 17 and it's divisible by 19 as well. So these are the two prime factors. Part 2, complete this statement that this should be factorized to this, and we need to fill in the blanks. Now keep this in mind that these two parts are linked, so we need to try these two factors 17 and 19 with different signs. Now whatever are these two numbers, when they multiply, we should get minus 323, and we just found the factors for 323. So we can try different combination of these numbers, like minus 17 and 19, or 17 and minus 19, or 19 and minus 17, or minus 19 and 17. We're looking for two numbers that once multiplied should give us minus 323. These are all these numbers. So I would just suggest try a little hit and trial, and you'll notice when you write plus 19 over here and minus 17 over here and open this bracket, you should get this back. Alright, so this again requires a little hit and trial. Okay, part 3, solve this equation. So we need to solve this equation which equals 0. So we'll use the previous part. We already have it factorized in the previous part, equals 0. So we're getting x equals minus 19 over 8, or x equals 70. Okay. Next is part C. Find the largest number of apples Dylan can buy for $2. So largest number of apples that Dylan can buy for $2. So each apple costs x cents, and x just came out to be 17. We'll be ignoring this negative value, and find the largest number of apples Dylan can buy for $2. So he spends $2 on apples, which means he spends 200 cents on the apples, and each apple costs 17 cents. So this will give us 11.764. So he can buy 11 whole apples. Make sure you don't end up rounding off to 12, because he can't buy 12 apples. He does not have enough money. He can buy 11.76 apples, which means he can buy 11 whole apples from the given amount of money. Next question is, Sarah spends $X on pens which cost $2.5 each, and she spends X minus $14.5 on pencil which costs $0.50 each. Total number of pens and total number of pencils is 19. So write down and solve an equation in X. So total number of pencils and pens she buys is 19, and she buys pens for $X, and each costs $2.5. So she buys X over 2.5 total pens, plus she buys X minus 14.5 over 0.5 total pencils. So total pens plus total number of pencil equals 19. Now take LCM, and we will get X times 0.5 plus 0.5 times x plus 2.5x minus 14.5 plus 2.5 14.5 times 2.5 becomes 36.25 equals the denominator is 2.5 times 0.5, which is 1.25 equals 19. Take 1.25 to the other side, multiply it with 19 and we get 23.75. This becomes 3x minus 36.25. We get 3x equals, take 36.25 to the other side, it gets added, 36.25 plus 23.75, we get 60, and x equals 20. Question number 13. Rice costs $x per kilograms, potato costs $x plus 1 per kilogram. The total cost of 12 kgs of rice and 7 kgs of potatoes is 31.7. Find the cost of 1 kg of rice. Cost of 1 kg of rice is actually x. So they're asking you to find x. First we need to make an equation in x. The total cost of 12 kg of rice. So 12 times x. 12 kg of rice will cost this much plus 7 kgs of potatoes. So 7 times x plus 1. This equals 31.7. Open and solve. Plus 7x plus 7 equals 31.7. We get 19x equals 31.7 minus 7. 24.7 over 19, which gives us 1.3. Part B is the cost of a small bottle of juice is $y. The cost of the large bottle of juice is y plus 1. When Catriona spends $36 on small bottles, if she spends $36 on small bottles, that means she can buy 36 over y number of bottles. She receives 25 more bottles than when she spends $36 on large bottles. So when she's spending $36 on large bottles and each large bottles cost y plus 1, so she will buy 36 over y plus 1 number of bottles. So this is giving us small number of bottles. If she's only spending the money on small numbers of bottle, this is giving us the number of large bottles if she's only spending on large bottles, and we're told that the difference between these two is 25. So she receives 25 more bottles, so this is the bigger number, because when she's spending on small bottles, she receives 25 more bottles. So 36 over y minus 36 over y plus 1 equals 25. Also, you need to know that when the denominator is bigger, the overall fraction is smaller. So this fraction comes after the other fraction. Alright, now simply take LCM and simplify. We get 36y plus 36 minus 36 over y times y plus 1 equals 25, and we get 36 equals 25 y square plus 25, and when we'll rearrange, we'll get this equation. Alright, next part says factorize this. So to factorize it, we'll copy the equation again, Alright, so to factorize this, we are going to use middle term breaking. So we're looking for two numbers which when multiplied should give us 25 into minus 36, which is minus 900, and which when added should give us plus 25. So what would be those two numbers? Let's quickly let's factorize 900 to figure that out. So 2 450s are, 2 225s are, 3 75s are, then again 3 25s are, and then again we're continuing from here. This is 25, I'm continuing from here. So again 5 5s are, 5 1s are. So I've actually repeated this, I'm going to leave it out. So now let's use combination of these numbers so that we get 25 when we add or subtract those. So what should that be? In fact, we should just use 45 and 20 because that would give us these numbers. 45 times minus 20 is 900, and 45 minus 20 is 25. We can also find that out using combinations over here. So use 4 and 5 separately, which gives us 20, and then use 5 times 9, which will give us 45. So from here also we can derive this combination 45 and minus 20. Okay, so next to the middle term breaking. So 25y square plus 45y minus 20y minus 36 equals 0. 5 is common, so 5y, even y is common, plus 9, and then minus 4 is common, so we get 5y plus 9 equals 0. So we get y equals 4 over 5 and y equals minus 9 over 5. Minus 9 over 5, yes. Next is find the total cost of one small bottle of juice and one large bottle of juice. Now one small bottle of juice is for $X and one large bottle of juice is for $Y plus 1. So y plus 1, we have two values of y, we'll only be selecting the positive value. 4 over 5 is actually 0.8, so 0.8 plus 0.8 plus 1, which will give us 2.6, and that's all.